With the Easter break over, we're back to racing in the Nextel Cup Series, and the question remains, will we have our fifth unique winner of the season, or will one of the repeat winners come home with our second trophy of the season? Gabriel Mauricio, Brandon McKissick, Christian Budd, Tyler Head all want to walk away with our next trophy. There's a bunch of drivers behind them, all looking to prove themselves at one of the trickiest tracks in all the circuit. You are watching ABN's live coverage of the Winstel Racing Series at Martinsville Speedway. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joe Cortez. Carmen Sienna, as always, joining me in the booth. And Carmen, this is going to be a fun race. The first time these guys have been really tested on a short track, and I'm excited to see what happens next.
This track, it can be to make your own adventure as far as what this track can provide. Obviously, some drivers skipping out on this race because of the physicality that kind of comes with it. Obviously, a little over half a mile. It's a paper clip. That's the nickname to it. You see how rough and abrasive it is just from this camera angle. You can see right here the different surfaces, the concrete and the asphalt. It's physical, both physically on the driver and on the car. We're going to see a lot of bumping, a lot of bump and runs, a lot of contact here. This is sort of the way short track racing began for a lot of people, running here through the flat track here at Martinsville Speedway. And we're seeing that. It's going to be difficult. These are 750 horsepower cars. You have to manage the throttle. You have to keep the car from spinning out. You have to be sure to be on the brakes. This is one of the heaviest braking based tracks on the calendar too, just because of how much you're on the throttle and then on the brake immediately to slow down to make the corner. Very easy to overdrive this track, and we're going to see that tonight, obviously going through this. 12 races to go until the chase begins, and this is a race we've seen happen so many times. It can make or break someone's season, especially this early on. It still can really determine how you go into the summer, whether or not you're starting on the right foot or whether or not you're having to play catch up here.
Like putting a bunch of fighter jets in a Coliseum and seeing what happens, seeing which one is going to make it around first. Let's go through the point standings as they stand going into this race. We've already had the drop race for all these guys apply for the season. So now we're at the top 35 are locked in on points. The rest of the field has to qualify in order to make it to the show. Sean Peleg with a top 3 finish last week took the points lead from Gabriel Mauricio. Now a 28-point gap between Peleg and Mauricio. Tom Lewandowski 3 for 3 on top 10s. He was now only 4 points behind Gabriel Mauricio for position number 2. Mike Rasmussen, Aaron Smith both had great races to propel themselves an average of 6 spots between them. Emily Howe moving up, Dylan Roberts in 6. Emily Howe moving up 7 spots to start finish position number 7. Chris Champeau doing the same thing, moving up 7 spots to 8. Brandon McKissick, despite his win, had a rough time at Texas, moves down to 9th, and Anthony Kroback rounding out the top 10 in points. So it's getting to a point here where it's getting tougher to score points. It's getting tougher to stay up there. And we're now at the part of the season, like you said, with 12 races left. Consistency is key.
And so you see this cut line for the Winstel Cup chase. It's separated by 1 point. That's how close it is right now, and it's expected to stay that close the entire rest of the season as everyone adjusts and alters the way they approach these races. Evan Locke outside the cut line by that single point. Christian Budd, who had a fantastic race last time out of Texas 2 weeks ago, looking to do the same thing here today. He's second fastest right now in final practice, so could be the case in point there. Brennan McGee, Jose Solis Jr., they had good races go bad for them at Texas. Christina Ryan, another consistent run, but consistently outside the top 10. We need to see some top 10s begin to break through for the 00 car. That Aaron's Dream Machine, Parker Alexander, Jonathan Hernandez, and Alex Bates, the next one's in line there. But as you see the gap beginning to grow, the further away you get from the top 10 there, and then it's like a cliff because it is so difficult. It's almost like a cannibalizing midfield here. When you think about how many cars we've had 42, 43 cars every race so far. This is the smallest field we've had in the Winstel Cup season, and it's 39 cars. So still a pretty high field there, and 39 cars around a half-mile oval. It's going to be rush hour traffic all race long.
When we first went racing 2 weeks ago, prior to the Easter break, Christian Budd was the winner last time we went racing, leading winning after 60 laps, picked up some bonus points there, and so he's got a little bit of ways to go as you see the rest of the standings going on your screen right now. Mike Rasmus was second, Sean Peleg a third place finish to take the points lead. Parker Alexander and Aaron Smith, your top five. Well, we saw Texas was a bit of an anomaly. There was a lot of wrecking involved. There was a lot of crashes, especially towards the end of the race where we saw some of the equipment start to wear out. Now, this is a much tougher track. It's flat. It's going to wear the tires a lot more. And as you mentioned at the beginning of the show, Carmen, there's going to be a lot more throttle control. There's going to be a lot more management that needs to be done for these cars. Are we going to see a very physical race here tonight? And if so, who's going to be the benefactor of all that?
I think it's going to be extremely physical. We've seen in practice so far just how difficult it is at this track with how much power is in these cars. It's going to be very physical. It's also going to be a track where everyone's going to really mind their P's and Q's here, because we've seen a lot of drivers, they drive into the corner a little bit too deep. They'll hook underneath the rear bumper of the car in front. And when you do that, it just lifts the car in front off the ground, and that triggers a lot of accidents here. So you're going to see that a decent amount across this race as drivers really try to figure out a little bit more as far as what they can do and what they can't do here. Obviously, some drivers have been practicing, obviously, during the off week for Easter. Some drivers, they just jumped in today. Those will be the drivers that have the most trouble, but those are also the drivers right now that are the fastest. So it's an interesting dichotomy. If you can stay in the front of the field, less traffic to deal with, but not everyone's going to have that luxury, and that's where the compromise begins.
Last week, it was 20 to 22 laps before we saw a pit stop. I've got a feeling we're going to see a lot more pit stops on this race as we get ready to go back to go to green flag racing. Practice is over. 5 minutes now for qualifying. Everyone's going to do what they can to put out their first and solid clean lap here to try to get as much position as they can. Let's go ahead and follow along here with the first driver of the number 17. That's Christian Budd, your winner from 3 weeks ago, if memory serves me right. He's going to take his first lap here, and let's see if it's enough to get him towards the top of the field.
Yeah, he won the last time out at Texas, his second win in Winstel Cup Series competition in the modern era. Sitting right now pretty good in the points, but trying to just survive here. Second fastest in practice, as I mentioned there earlier, behind Zach Campbell. Trying to put together a good lap time here. Currently second fastest, and he's only going to run that one lap in this event, and he's going to immediately just get shuffled all the way down here. This is going to be a nightmare situation if he continues to fall down. We'll shuffle on down the order here as we look further. There's Justin Howell, who made his start. He started at Daytona. He did another race last week at Texas. Obviously, Rookie of the Year contender here. Trying to put some work together on this lap.
And that will be good enough for him. He will go ahead and take the first lap given. Interesting how people, the racers in this series only take one lap, don't elect to take both of them. So we're going to see exactly how that will play for them later on. Let's take a look at Thomas Lewandowski now. Again, he's had a solid run of top tens. Will he be able to continue that here at Martinsville? Only one way to find out as he goes through turns 3 and 4, dives into the concrete portion of the track, trying to get as much grip as he can coming out, and he will turn in a time of good enough to put him in 14th position. So a lot of the favorites having a hard time out here tonight. Could be a little fatigued from the 2 mile and a mile and a half tracks that we saw to open the series.
Yeah, for Lewandowski, that's a really big deal. 14th place. It seems like things are just kind of struggling there right now for him. No one else on track at the moment. Kenneth Askew might be getting ready to get back on track. Fastest lap, a 20.19. You see that there with Campbell at 20.186 there. Nick Doucette almost a full 10th off of him there in second on the front row. So the 24 car looking pretty strong here right now through qualifying. Zach Campbell looking consistently strong, but we've seen that all season long. It's the race where it falls apart for that 41 car. So let's see if that target machine can do something here. 30 cars are set qualifying lap times. We'll see if we can find if Kenneth Askew is available on track. It looks like he is not. He's the only one he's one of the few that have not run a lap yet. Brandon Cruz has also not run a lap yet. He is on track though. Brandon Cruz looking to make something happen. He's 23rd in points. Needs a really good result here to kickstart his campaign to go for the chase. Again, sitting really far out. And you see a lot of zeros in that column. Poles, wins, top 5s, top 10s, goose eggs across the board. He'd like to change at least one of those stats tonight.
Zach Campbell's going to be a very interesting one to watch, especially if he maintains the pole. He's had a fast race car all year long, but you're right. The problem is in the racing, he just has not been able to keep up. Throughout his Winstel career, I should say, 16 starts, 5 wins, 7 poles, 12 top 5s, 13 top 10s. So he's a very experienced racer, very qualified racer, just having a hard time closing the deal. Tonight could be his opportunity, as now we see Brandon Cruz take on the paperclip one more time. He's going to start on the outside, try to put in his qualifying lap with a minute left in qualifying.
I think this is mostly just to secure that he's not going to be starting dead last, although at this point, with how much traffic there is here in the field, you probably would want to start last. You want to be able to see all the traffic in front of you, 39 cars here. Yeah, he's testing out the Hail Melon is what he just did there.
That may come into play.
It very well could. It very well could. You're absolutely correct on that. But with qualifying completed here, we've got the starting grid pretty well set up now, and it's going to be Zach Campbell on pole position once again.
So Zach Campbell will start on the pole one more time. We'll take you through the grid in just a moment. Zach Campbell starting on row number 1. He will be the pole position. Nick Doucette, the 24, will start on the outside row number 1, position number 2. Two drivers who've heard a lot from this season, Tyler Head, Jose Solis Jr. will start row number 2. Sean Peleg, your points leader, starts in the inside of row number 3. Outside of him, the 8 of Dylan Roberts. Gabriel Mauricio, who won at Daytona, will start on the inside of row number 4. Outside of him, Aaron Smith, the 59, in position number 8. Rounding out your top 10, Brandon McKissick and Mike Rasmus.
Yeah, big time moves there in the top 10. Obviously, a lot of really strong power hitters here. We'll see what Gabriel Mauricio can do, seeing as how he's off the points lead and he's got a rebound from the bad race at Texas. Some other drivers trying to make their way in. Emily Howell, who had a really good race at Texas, starting in 11th alongside Jonathan Hernandez. Christian Budd, who we saw was fast in practice, let it slip a little bit there in qualifying, starting in row 7 alongside Thomas Lewandowski. Michael O'Brien and Justin Howell make up row number 8. Then it's Corey Cook, his best starting position all season long so far. Brendan McGee alongside him in row 9. Row 10, Craig Lautenschlager and Mo Perry. They round out the top 20.
It'll be Philip Snipes in row number 11. Outside of him, the 84 of Timothy Latham. Kyle Benson and Evan Locke will start row number 12. Matt Tiskler and Alex Bates, row number 13. Row number 14, Larry Pace in the 98 machine. Outside of him, Davin Cornelius, who almost won at Texas 2 weeks ago. He will start on the outside row 14. Rounding out the top 30, Chris Champeau in the 18. Leandro Mordira in the 16 machine, starting position number 30.
And then you have the final 9 cars, Matt Taylor, Brandon Cruz. These are all drivers that did not set a qualifying lap time in the session there. Andrew Griesbaum, who entered the race 35th on tiebreaker in this race, trying to score some extra points here, should have the ability to. It's just a matter of getting through the field. Tyler Murray alongside of him. Then it's Ken Huff, Evan Mallinson in row 18, row 19, Corey Steinhauser and Hayden Rapus, and Kenneth Askew in row 20, all by himself in 39th.
39 cars will take the green flag when we go to racing here in just a moment. Nobody goes home as a result of qualifying. The first racing Ford Mustang pace car will take probably another lap or two around Martinsville. It's a short track, so everyone's getting their parade laps in now, getting the cars warmed up, and we should see them go green next time by. Real quick, Carmen, who do you got winning this race?
This is the track that favors the patient. It favors a little bit of boldness, but it favors being smooth as well. Tyler Head's been very smooth all season long. Honestly, it's between Tyler Head and Sean Peleg. I'm gonna go. I think Sean Peleg could go back to back here. I think either way. I think the 1-for-1 winning streak, I think that ends tonight.
We'll find out what happens here in 110 laps around Martinsville Speedway. Get ready as a 41 of Zach Campbell gets ready to lead them to the green flag. Green flag flies, and we are racing at Martinsville. Side by side, they continue into these tight, flat turns 1 and 2. The entire field slowing up as a caution comes out for the first time.
Trouble immediately, and I believe it is in the mid-pack. There it is in the mid-pack. Seeing who that is, there's Evan Locke there on the very far outside, but this is behind. This looks like Corey Cook, and it is Corey Cook, and I believe Michael O'Brien. Michael O'Brien also involved here. Let's see if we can get a quick replay of this. Immediately on the opening lap, trouble.
This wasn't unexpected. We knew that this was going to be a tough race for everybody. As we take a look now at the replay, starting around the zero of Corey Cook. Let's see exactly what happened after they crossed the start-finish line here. As the 97, he gave a little tap to the 97, and that got him around and stacks up the cars behind him. So about 4 cars seriously involved in this incident, but it all starts around the 0 and the 97. Miscommunication there. I don't think that was malice. That was just bad timing and a miscommunication by both those drivers. That'll bring out the first caution of the night, but I got a feeling that may set the pace for what's going to be a very interesting night here at Martinsville.
It very well could. Riding on board with Corey Cook here from the hood cam, just in front of the windscreen. And yeah, just ended it in a little bit too deep there, not checking up for all the traffic ahead. And obviously the 0 kind of gets instant karma, gets turned around as well, and dropped to the very back of the field.
And this goes to exactly what you were saying before we took green flag, Carmen. This track and tracks like this favor those who are patient, those who can stay patient and stay relaxed in traffic and just slowly work their way through the field. I've raced this track. I've raced Hickory and similar tracks like this, and I'll tell you, it is not easy to pass people. You've got to really work your way through, and you've got to do everything you can to force the driver in front of you to make an error without using the chrome horn to move them around. So not necessarily a great start to the race, but I've got a feeling we're going to see a lot more patience and a lot more caution provided as a result of that first caution.
Yeah, as you'll notice here at the front of the field, Nick Doucette ended up getting a better launch there than Zach Campbell. Took the lead of this race here, so he'll have the front of the field over Campbell, then Tyler Head, Jose Solis Jr., and Sean Peleg still in the top 5 as they started. But Doucette, a really good launch for him so far. He's another driver that's looking for his first top 10 in any shape or form. He's been competitive. We saw that at Vegas, we saw it at Texas, but involved in incidents. He's got to try to stay out ahead here and try to stay out of the way. But if we do get a green flag run, 39 cars, there's going to be traffic. He's got to deal with it at some point. That's where the struggle's going to come in, and that's where we're going to see whether or not Doucette and Campbell can really hold off the likes of Head, Solis Jr., and Peleg.
Nick Doucette currently sitting 27th in points, so he's locked in for the next 12 races of the good news. The bad news is he is far, far down from that cutoff line we saw for the chase. So he's got to make some moves, and he's got to make them sooner rather than later. Today is a perfect day to start that. Single file restart here at Martinsville as we go back to green flag racing. Doucette's got himself an extra 5 points for leading a lap. Let's see if he can pick up some more for leading the most as he takes him down to the green flag. Green in the air. We're back down to racing. Doucette gets a good jump off the 41 and the 4 down there as they start battling for position side by side.
Single file restart because they did not complete that first lap in its entirety without the caution coming out. So in single file, if there is another restart here, it will be double file since they have completed this lap and we are good to go there. Tyler Head working on the inside of Zach Campbell. Fresh tires, cold tires, helping out Campbell at the moment, but you definitely want to be close to the inside lane in those corners. Just because of how sharp these corners are, you cannot drift wide and make up time like you could at other tracks.
And now you see the 24 holding up the rest of the field. Tyler Head wants to get the lead, but he's being held up by both the 41 and the 24 behind them. That is a 29 machine of Jose Solis Jr. getting a little impatient on the outside. Sean Peleg on the inside, happy to cruise now in position number 5. It looks like he would like to get around the 29, but he's not going to push the issue considering the 2 drivers in front of him.
And that is trouble further behind, and it's Leandro Morera that is stuck going the wrong way around. He's obviously pointing back in the right direction now, but in trouble here.
So frustrations are starting starting to flare here at Martinsville. It's going to be a very interesting night of racing, and it's really going to be about who can prevail. Whoever has the cooler head, whoever has the more relaxed mindset, those are the ones going to prevail. As we take a look now at the replay, looking at the zero right now, let's see where once again Corey Cook is involved in the incident. No, it's way in front of him. Looks like the 16 just got loose coming off of turns 1 and 2. Nope, the 0 and 33. This time it's the 0 getting the bump instead of being the bumper. Once again, the 0 around sideways will bring the caution out, and that brings out caution number 2 for the evening.
Yeah, we thought it was Morera because Morera got loose there. As you mentioned, we saw the 16 car get loose and it was slow there, but this was a completely different incident here with Corey Cook. This is Corey Cook and then the 33 of Tyler Murray, who was near the last caution here. See if we can get a good onboard here from Murray. Onboard here. Good hood cam and just sends it in so deep. Cook, you see the damage already in Cook's car from that last caution. And then Murray obviously gets hit by Larry Pace as well.
Yeah, Cook just, I'm not sure if he tried to get into the turn early or what exactly happened there, but he definitely hit the brakes hard well before the turn, and Tyler Murray just drove straight through him. Again, not malicious. I don't think he was sending a message so much as that was just another miscue, another miscommunication. And once again, we are back to running single file. The traffic jam continues here at Martinsville.
We will have a double file restart here since we did get a couple laps green. Obviously, single file restarts. For those that don't know the procedure here, if there's a caution on a restart lap, it'll be a single file restart for the subsequent restarts here. Since we did get some green flag laps in there, we'll go back to a double file restart. So we'll see that, and Doucette now has to make that decision to try to make sure that he can stay ahead of the driver's center of your screen right now. Zach Campbell, who's going to try to take that position back. He lost it on the start, has not led a lap yet in this race despite starting on pole position, and he's going to have quite a hungry crew behind him as well, because he's going to be right in front of Holy Solis Jr., who we know can get very aggressive when push comes to shove.
Something else to keep in mind here, something else that you'll want to watch out here for is that there's no selection cube. There's no selection arrow.
Yeah.
So it's not like anyone could go choose the lane they want, high lane or low lane. The leader will get to choose where they restart. After that, you file in by your position. So those who are in odd positions right now, 1, 3, 5, who will start the inside, they may have a slight advantage over those on the outside because they can get around the turn quicker.
Yeah, sitting here right now, kind of looking to make sure that we are still... Oh, we're staying single file, looks like. Looks like we're staying single file. We're bursting through the top 10 there. They've elected to keep it single file. A bit of a change there, not expected. So Doucette gets the easy decision now of having to keep this single file lane behind him. But there we go, green flag in the air, and Tyler Head immediately goes to the inside, but look at Hernandez further down, going after Rasmus and Emily Howe.
Emily Howe almost takes it 3 wide. Will go ahead and go behind the 6 there and start running where she wants to go. Now she's going to join the 1 down low. Meanwhile, back and further in the field, the 12 and the 84 doing a little bit of business as a 25 side by side, trying to pick up some position as well. 2 by 2, these drivers go 25, 18 low, 51, 77 up high.
Yeah, obviously there's now a little bit of traffic all over the place. Everyone just trying to get into a rhythm and get into a flow in this race. This is Bud and Hal, the 15 and the 17, going at it here. And Christian Budd gets ahead of Emily Howe here, as now Howe single file. And you see a little bit of damage on Lewandowski's car already. A little bit of scraping on that passenger side, that right side of the car. Got to keep an eye on that. You don't want to tag the wall too often much here, because that does matter. It does kind of help keep the balance on the car. These cars, loose enough as it is in the power, you don't want to have a lot of aero instability either.
Lewandowski may have been involved in that first incident just a little bit, not a lot, but just enough. But in some situations, rubbing along that right side can help you with aerodynamics, especially as you try to run the wall. Let's go ahead and run alongside now, or inside the 77 of Davin Cornelius. You see just how tough the racing is from the ground level there. No room for error as the 18 hits the brakes going into turns 1 and 2. The 77 has to do the same thing, has to follow the 18 and not not drive too deep into it in order to avoid the caution. Lap 18 of 110, no changes, very few changes through the field.
Yeah, right now, I'm more with Davin Cornelius. He is deep in the field right now, 23rd place, but not a bad place to be overall. He started this race 28, so he's already up 5 spots in this race. A little bit of damage there on that right side, on that right front, but that's fixable when he comes down pit lane. It just hasn't come down pit lane yet.
And these guys will be looking to come down pit lane probably around, what do you say, about lap 40, lap 50-ish? This is a much smaller track, but they're going to be using a lot more of the rubber as they do some racing. Nick Doucette continues to lead, but you see a very frustrated driver in that 41, Zach Campbell, trying to get around him, get to the door, but not able to make the move as they continue to run 1 and 2. Jose Solis now in 3rd, Tyler Head in 4th.
Yeah, and Solis just ran wide. They're trying to defend that momentum there from Tyler Head as here comes Campbell on Doucette. Campbell sends it in on Doucette here. Going side by side at a 4. Doucette's going to lead the lap, but Campbell's got his number right now.
Side by side, they continue to go. 41 low, 24 forced to go west the track, and he's going to lose a lot of position. Mark him down 3, maybe 4 positions now as the 48 of Sean Peleg tries to pick up a move on his teammate. Right now, new leader, the 41 is Zach Campbell, who started in pole position, will take it back once again.
Yeah, it took him almost 25 laps to get back to the front of the field, but he did it. And now you see this battle between the 24 and the 48. There's been a lot of good battles between this number pairing at Martinsville, a track so important to the Hendrick Motorsports group. Obviously, they've had so much success here. So many grandfather clocks have been won by that team. They're trying to do that again here tonight, but they've got some work to do, and they're fighting each other more than they're fighting the 4 Tyler Head and the 29 Jose Solis Jr., who now just has one target to focus on, and ironically, it's the target car that he gets to focus on here at Martinsville. But again, early days, you talk about the pit stop strategy, it's expected to be a one-stop race is where we're expecting this to be. The question is when. It depends on comfort level. You talk about the tires. It is 100% going to be a tire-affected race. Fuel-wise, they're good. It's all about the tires and the feeling of those tires because they're going to wear rapidly here at Martinsville.
Those tires are going to wear off rapidly, and if we have another caution flag, it would not surprise me if we see people come in a little bit earlier as Tyler Head gets a little squirrely going through turns 3 and 4. Looks like he had to make a quick correction to get that car back down on back in line and driving with everybody. Meanwhile, back behind the 48, we've got a nice battle going on right now. The 8 of Dylan Roberts, and I believe that is the 37 machine, belongs to Brandon McKissick. They continue to be side by side as the 8 machine of Roberts wants to make some passes the hard way. He is looking on the outside lane, trying to make it work, get around the 48 and the 37.
You see that car going a lap down. That's Ken Huff, the 31. Not having a great start to this race, already down a lap, just staying out of the way, doing a good job there, staying on the very far outside lane, making it easier. However, as they catch more cars here, that becomes less of an option. Now the traffic becomes way more consistent. Obviously, right now we're still in early days here. We've had 2 quick cautions that help kind of keep the real field close together and reset. Now that's not going to be the case. You see him fall back even more. There's Bud, there's Hal, there's the 22 of Justin Hal. Both Hal siblings right there, the 15 and the 22, getting their way through. 13th and 14th now for them as caution has come out, and it's Alex Bates, 25, who has found himself the wrong way around. Doesn't see a lot of damage there on 25. Could have gotten away with it, but a 3rd caution of the night will be car 25.
Once again, the tires we're talking about in play for the 25. It looks like it might have just been a solo spin. He might have just miscalculated the turn going in, and that would be enough to cause the spin. Let's go ahead and take a look at the replay here as we focus along on the 25 of Alex Bates and just see what happened. Did he get a little help going into the turn, or did he solo spin out there looking through turns 3 and 4? I'm going to call that a solo spin. I don't think he got as much help as we think.
I think Chris Champeau definitely finished him off there, the 18 of Chris Champeau. Let's see if we can go back and look at that. I think there's definitely a little bit of content there, but I think Bates was already hot on the brakes there going in. Let's get a really good, a concrete angle here. Let's look at Chris Champeau's on board. This is Bates in front of him, the 25, and the GMAC Insurance Chevrolet.
Yeah, he's already going.
Loose, and Champeau
he's
just
already
finishes him.
Yeah. normally in that situation, you would assume the 18 would either take the air off the 25, get him get that top end the back end a little loose, get it off the ground and get him loose. But I think the 25 just simply went in too hot and was a little bit got on the gas again a little too early, and those combination of things spun him right out in front of the 18.
Yeah, you're seeing that here. He just kind of steps out, already drifting out a little bit. He just steps out a little bit, and then the 25 just, there's nowhere for Shampoo to go. He's got a little bit of damage there, but it looks like the 25 gets through that pretty well and clean. There's Cornelius in there in the 77. There's the 51 there as well. Then the 42, Evan Locke. Andrew Griesbaum got away with that one pretty well without any incident. Overall, we've seen worse already in this race, and it could be definitely a lot worse as this race goes on. But we will see some drivers come down pit lane here. Obviously, Alex Bates having to let drivers go through here. Some cars in pit lane. Brandon Cruz, Corey Cook, Corey Steinhauser in pit lane as well, the 34. And you see some cars already trying to make their way around the field here. Brandon McKissick will inherit the lead of this race.
Well, some of your leaders have gone ahead and come down pit road. As it stands right now, Brandon McKissick, a one-time winner here this year, will be back in the lead of this race. Gabe Mauricio, another one-time winner, will be in position number 2. Tyler Head in 3rd, Nick Doucette in 4th, and Jose Solis Jr. rounding out the top 5. You know who we don't see in that group? The 41 of Zach Campbell. He must, like we talked about, he's going to restart all the way in position number 10. So that had to either he got shuffled back hard, or he came in early for a pit stop early, which would not surprise me.
Yeah, a couple of pit stops there definitely took place getting through this. In fact, the only driver that did not come down pit lane is McKissick. So everyone came down for some sort of service, some with 2 tires, some with 4. But everyone came down for service of some kind. As we stay single file for this restart, McKissick will lead the field to green over Mauricio. Several race winners already. Obviously, 3 race winners right there. Tyler Head, right there, another race winner. You have to look at Nick Doucette, one of the first ones without a race win. Start on the front row. He's got the pace. Just got to really kind of grind it out and show it.
Staying out is a very bold strategy, considering everyone behind you has cold tires that have way more grip on them than you do on the used rubbers. But will it be enough? Can he hold off the advances of those other drivers when we go back to green flag racing? We'll find out in just a moment, as the lights should go off the pace car. There they go. This time by, we are 1 lap away from going back to green flag racing. And again, the question remains, can McKissick hold them off? Can McKissick hold off the drivers behind him? And can he ultimately hold the lead?
That's the biggest question. I think you look at the position game, though, where McKissick was at the time. It's such a big bonus just having that position, because then he can control the pace. And yet Larry Pace there on the inside is a wounded car. That makes it a little bit easier, too, because Mauricio can't just immediately dive to the inside in that turn 1 there. That helps McKissick out a lot. But it's all about just kind of hoarding out and holding on to as much as you can. As Solis Jr. made the really brave move of going to the inside lane with Pace there as the lap car. Pace, the only lap car in this field, so Solis kind of just pinned himself on the wrong lane here. Everyone's going to try to get around. Mauricio, fresh tires, goes to the outside lane. If you're going to power your way around, it's got to be on the outside. Go the long way around. McKissick's forcing that, and Mauricio will do it.
Mauricio gets a great run on the front stretch. Not enough, though, to get around the 37 this time by. Can he power around on the back stretch? Looks like he might have him. He might have him clear going into turns 3 and 4. Not so fast, says McKissick. He will close the door one more time, and that's what makes passing on the outside here so difficult. You have extra real estate to have to work through, and Mauricio says, we'll make it happen. He is now the leader on lap 38 of 110. Lap 39 of 110.
Yeah, Tyler Head immediately goes to the inside lane. Now you've got tires on drivers on equal equipment at the moment. A little bit of contact there between the 2 race winners we've seen this season, or 2 of the 4, I should say, we've seen this season, as cautions come out for the 4th time.
And the big question is, who was the leader?
Race leader is going to be Mauricio, but there is a lot of cars involved in this one. A little bit further back, Timothy Latham's got a piece of it here. Mo Perry looks like he's got a pretty decent chunk of it. And he's already had some damage here. Let's look at this.
So once again, it looks like Mo Perry is going to be involved in the middle of this one. A lot of oh no, it's going to be the 19 machine. That 19 machine belongs to Philip Snipes. He's going to get loose. It looks like grab the inside of that turn. Those warning strip a little bit, and that's going to turn him into the rest of the field, and that's going to plug up all the traffic back there. Philip Snipes misjudges the turn, catches the apron, and that is going to bring out your caution flag that time by.
Yeah, fourth caution of the race. Philip Snipes really had to check up there for Craig Lautenschlager and Justin Howell, the 22 and the 99 there. And I think Latham gets him pretty hard here. Yeah, he does. Gets him right on that quarter panel.
Oh.
And then obviously Snipes actually leans on that curbing there, the concrete curbing to try to save the car, but obviously 750 horsepower, 3,400 pound cars. A little bit harder to do there. And Mo Perry, obviously, he got hit because of that, all the checkup for that incident. 32 there also involved. There's Davin Cornelius at 77. There's Timothy Latham there. Obviously, Evan Locke stuck there. Andrew Griesbaum gets lucky, and he threads the needle just barely. Then you have the 16, Leandro Morera, also there in that 16 car. So some drivers definitely squeaking their way through. There's Brandon Cruz. Everyone in that log jam just checking up.
At least 7 drivers, if not more, involved in that incident, and that will once again stack up, smother them, and cover them as we get ready to go back to green flag racing one more time. Almost halfway through this race. These races don't last very long, but they are gladiatorial matches when they do go green flag racing. I'm really curious to see what happens now between Mauricio and Head when we go back to green flag racing. Those guys were not only side by side, but they were making a little contact back and forth. They were doing a little bit of dancing with one another, and that caused them to get sideways almost a couple times.
Yeah, now they're going to be, and now they have McKissick cleared. McKissick down to 4th now. Doucette also getting clear in this. McKissick now in the 4th position. Sean Pele the top 5. Jose Solis Jr. has some work to do. Campbell already gained 2 spots there in that go because Campbell took 4 tires. Everyone else in front of him took 2. That's a really big difference, especially if we get a long run here. Those 4 tires will be dividends in this race, but he's got to get to that point first, but he's already put in the use. He's already got ahead of Rasmussen Smith.
So a lot of very interesting contenders up front right now, and it's only going to get more entertaining as we go through green flag racing. You see the top 15 scrolling down there at the bottom of your screen. A lot of faces that we've been talking about all season long in that top 15 group. So here's what I'm curious about. If you're in that bottom tier right now, when do you start making your move? When do you start positioning yourself to slowly move up and start taking away some positions and try to get a top 10 finish? We're not even halfway through yet, so I believe there's plenty of racing left to go. Pace car makes the hard left turn down pit road, and Gabe Mauricio, who is used to doing this, I would say, is going to bring them back to the green flag one more time. Here we go, green flag racing as Mauricio hits the loud pedal. We're back here at Martinsville with all the field starting to go too wide, starting to figure out where they want to run. Mauricio now has a target on his back as he tries to hold them all off.
Yeah, everyone. If you look at everyone that was behind McKissick, they've gone to the outside lane. McKissick forcing them to go around, the long way around, which is the right thing to do if you're McKissick and you're trying to hold on a position. But he is so far out of water at this point. I think if he doesn't come in on one of these stops, or if this race goes long enough, it's going to bite him pretty hard because he was already near the top 10 before, and now he's about to fall out of it because there's Campbell to his outside, and caution that again.
And that is the caution McKissick absolutely needed to see. He was doing damage control right there. Not to be confused with the faction, but he was definitely on damage control that time around. The 16 once again involved Leandro Morera, involved in that incident for the second time tonight. But again, I think the biggest benefactor here, or beneficiary, is McKissick, who's now going to be able to go down pit road, get the tires he so desperately needs, and get back on track with everybody else here.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see what this is going to do. Leandro Morera, he looks like he's already stepping out sideways here when our camera catches him. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, he's checking up because he's gotten loose, and Tyler Murray just clobbers him. There's Evan Locke getting a piece of it as well. Alex Bates, another piece of it. That's unfortunate there.
That is very, very unfortunate, and that is going to his night is not going the way I'm sure he envisioned it when he first started racing. Another look at that now for the driver in 39th position. He just mistimed the exit of that turn, and that got him loose, and that is going to send him around in like a tilt-a-whirl, and ultimately it's going to definitely put a hamper on his night. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, he checks up. He does the right thing and checking up and getting out of the gas, using a little bit of brake there. You saw the brake smoke there pop up. He was just trying to keep that car from spinning out, but Tyler Murray obviously rolling through the corner. He can't slam on the brakes nearly as quick as Moreira is because he doesn't realize that Moreira is slamming on the brakes at all to begin with until it's already over. And Evan Locke, he's expecting Moreira to roll all the way back to the wall, so he chooses a lane and just chooses poorly because Moreira had that thing locked up and pretty well taken care of. And then Bates obviously know where he can go because now you do have a rolling car you can't avoid. And that's where it gets really rough because there's nothing you can do in that situation because Moreira's already locked it down. Locke's just trying to predict where he thinks Moreira's going to go. And Bates, he's picked his lane. He's just, unfortunately, an unfortunate victim of that again as well.
Unfortunately, just a victim of bad luck. And that's definitely, like I said, he's going to put a hamper on his night. Definitely not the way he wanted tonight to go. But here we go. Back up front, Mauricio continues to lead. Tyler Head now in position number 2. Nick Doucette in third place. Sean Palick in fourth. And Jose Solis Jr. rounding out your top 5. Mauricio is no stranger to being up front. He has definitely had a strong season so far this year. Mauricio, after the dropped race, has 1 win, 1 top 5, 3 top 10. So he's been a contender all 3 races. The question is, can he be a contender for his second win on this young season?
Yeah, honestly, he's been a contender, 7-time race winner already, but he's only got 1 top 5 in this season. Looking for another, and he's looking to break into the win column. Short tracks have not really been a strong suit, though, but he's doing good so far. We're already almost to the halfway point. You talk about how short these races are, even in this race being longer than time-wise than most races typically are in the Winstel Cup Series. We're already almost to the halfway point. Still looking pretty strong right now, and Jose Solis Jr. going to try to make his way to the front the long way around here.
He wants to make something work as we get ready to go back. Green flag racing. It flies now, and Tyler Head ducks down low, wants to force the issue on lap number 53. First lap going green flag. Nope. He's not going to make it happen as we have another caution flag.
Several cars involved in it. It looks like the accident actually started before we actually even saw the green flag fly. We're looking at Evan Locke here. This is the replay as we see it.
Yeah, Locke just dive bombs the 38 machine hard. The 38 killed, belonging to Robert Anderson, and that's going to bunch him up. The 96 machine getting a big piece of that. DJ Trout in his rookie season. That's definitely how you want to go as a 38. He uses the opportunity to do a little Polish victory lap driving there.
Yeah, Kyle Benson there in the 38, obviously not where he wanted to be in that, and he just kind of gets sent here in this process. Evan Locke, obviously, you see the green flag fly, and Evan Locke just kind of sends it. Even though you can't pass on the inside lane before you get to the start-finish line, so I'm not sure what Locke was doing in that process. That's a bit of a misjudgment there by Evan Locke, going to the inside before the start-finish line. If you pass the car that you're supposed to be in front and behind, like if you had made that pass on Benson before start-finish, that's a drive-through penalty. And
yeah, I think it's just a little impatient, you know? A little impatience there.
Yeah, so Evan Locke, I think, bit himself there a little bit too hard on that, and you see his car just completely torn up now as well. We've seen that, unfortunately, way too often there for Evan Locke for the last 3 of the last 4 races before tonight. We've seen him involved in incidents, involved in another one here tonight. So that's 4 of 5. Not good luck there, and you see Larry Pace in the 98. Larry Pace back on the lead lap. We have a couple cars out of this race already. Yeah, the 89 of Hayden Repas in the 38th position. He's on pit lane, still getting repairs, but it's a long repair work there. And then Leandro Morera, the 16 car, out of this race, officially classified as 39th.
Yeah, this is a track where you cannot sit on pace on pit road forever, because the longer you sit on pit road, the further back you're going to be passed over and over again. The further back you're going to go in laps compared to everybody else. So yes, you can sit there for a little bit, but you know, even under the caution flag, you're running about a minute or so laps or less around this short track. So sitting on pit road for what you feel like is 2 minutes may end up costing you 2 or 3 or more laps.
Yeah, these are short laps. These are 21-second laps that we're seeing here. If you're on pit lane for a minute and you see 3 laps to go through, that's if you're on pit lane for a minute, that is 3 laps down. Excuse me, I'm saying that completely backwards there. Obviously, he's been on pit lane now for 2 minutes, so obviously we've had cautions to slow down the pace of the field, but that could have been 6 laps down, so he's already lucky there. Even Mauricio now out in front, and he's going to lead the field to the restart here as the pace car comes down pit lane. Tyler Head going to try again to go for a pass here and go for the race lead. Let's see if he can do it.
Let's see what he can do as we get ready to go back. Green flag racing Mauricio for the 3rd time. We'll lead them back to the green flag. It flies once again, and is he going to learn from last time? He's definitely going to pinch Tyler Head down there a little bit, force him to back off as he tries to retain the lead. Head still on the inside trying to challenge it. Mauricio may not have a choice as he's forced to go wide into turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, Head not taking no for an answer. Mauricio doing the good old Pruitt fade is what we call it in the open wheel circles. Doing that fade, just one consistent motion, just kind of squeezing down the opposing driver off the lane there. Tyler Head, obviously it worked. Tyler Head happened to slot back into 2nd place. But now you have Nick Doucette who sends it in from 4th place. Going for 3rd, going for 2nd. He gets 3rd. But not happy with it. He wants to get to the front of the field, and he's going to do that. There's Zach Campbell and Jose Solis Jr. also dealing with it right now. But pandemonium right now, a lot of impatient drivers because they've spent so much time under caution already.
Doucette puts all the big bet on the 24, and it may pay off. After he sent it in there, Jose Solis gets a little squirrely coming off turns 3 and 4, able to correct it, but the door's open for the 41 there. The biggest benefactor of all this, the beneficiary, is Gabriel Mauricio, who's now watching all these guys fight for position behind him. All he has to do is lock down that preferred line, going low to high, and he could potentially walk away with this race. Over halfway done here at Martinsville, Mauricio's lead to lose.
And Mauricio doing a good job right now, just trying to walk away with it. And caution has come out once again. It's Michael O'Brien that has spun around the wrong way.
The 97 machine of O'Brien definitely having a bit of a rough time out there. Damage to the rear right side of that car. He might have gotten a little help going around. Let's take a look.
Yeah, this will be Michael O'Brien. Behind him is McKissick and Alex Bates. And yeah, McKissick just sends it in there and nowhere for him to go. And O'Brien doing a good job just keeping it locked up and letting everyone go by.
I believe that's what the kids call a yeet. I could be wrong, Carmen, but I believe the kids would call that a yeet these days.
Yeah, I would believe so. I would say that Michael Bryan got thoroughly yeeted into the spin there. But I think a lot of that damage, looking at it, a lot of the damage there was there from the start because he's been involved in a couple cautions beforehand. So not a lot to really worry about there. I would try to get some of that repaired though, because the rear of that car is looking a little less like a stock car, a little bit more like a boat.
Modified. Yeah, boat. That's also a good way to describe it. Boat's a good way to describe it. Again, the longer you sit there on pit road, though, the further back you're going to end up on this field. As you see Mauricio already pass him, the 97's going to try to get out ahead of the pace car. I think the 97's going to try to come in and out to stay on the lead lap. He will barely get out ahead of the pace car, but if he goes back in, it is going to cost him a lap. So I think 97, their strategy at this point is let's just stay out. Let's do what we can. We'll do what we can with what we have and hope for the best as the race goes on. Mauricio, again, the biggest beneficiary. I've said that 100 times now, but the guy, if you're good, you're good. And if you're lucky, you're damn lucky. And in this case, he's a little bit of both right now.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job right now as it sits. Obviously, he's after off Tyler Head, and Tyler Head had a really good chance. Actually had a few laps to go after it, but Mauricio very defensive on that restart. Squeezed Tyler Head down, stopped him from having that momentum and being able to generate that momentum, and it worked out. But now we get to try it all over again, and Tyler Head now knows what Mauricio is able to do and what he's willing to do to try to hold on to that race lead. We're beginning to encounter the game of chicken in this race.
And now to complicate things even worse, is we may have a couple cars that are at least a lap down, unless they've all gotten the lucky dog, unless they've all had those laps cleared, in which case we'll stay at a single file restart. But if we have a couple cars that are one lap down and have to start on the inside, that's going to complicate things for everybody, mostly Tyler Head and company.
Yeah, Benson just now leaving pit lane. I'm not sure with Benson just now leaving pit lane. I'm not sure if he's going to have to move to the back of the field or not because he's using those extra laps. I'm not sure if he has to move down to the back of pit lane. We'll see what happens here because we've had a couple of lap cars before on the last caution and they didn't line up on the inside there. So I'm not sure if he gets to line up on the inside or if he has to move to the back of the field, but it's not going to matter anyway because here comes Mauricio to the restart.
Mauricio will once again lead them for the fourth time now. Lead them back.
It's been waved off.
Oh no, it's been waved off. So he may have a little bit of an error lining up there, or the 33 may have gotten to the wall. Either way, we're going to see exactly where everyone lines up.
Yeah, that was the 37 McKissick that is now lining up. He is passing cars.
I don't have McKissick a lap down.
He's not a lap down. He was trying to get back in position because he came out a certain amount but had to come to a stop for some reason. They gave him a spot back. He is in 22nd position. So they're going to try this again as they're going to extend this caution another lap to get everyone in position because everyone was so far in position because the pit stops. Some drivers stayed in pit lane an extra lap there. And it's really shuffled things around. Everyone trying to get back in position. Now the lights on the pace car. We should be able to go green this time.
Hopefully we're all back in position, and Mauricio once again will have to fight off Tyler Head and company in order to maintain this lead. But there's a lot of hungry drivers behind that silver bullet. Then they all want one thing. They want to be the one who walks away with the grandfather clock here at Martinsville. Side by side in the heart of Virginia. Virginia's for lovers, they say. No one's loving the lead as much as Gabe Mauricio as he gets ready to bring him back around to the green flag. Green flag in the air this time by. And here we go again. Mauricio, great jump on the floor of Tyler Head. Tyler Head's not going to challenge it, but Doucette is, and now they're side by side.
Yeah, Doucette really good on the launch there. We saw Doucette begin to crawl his way back forward there, but now he's got to defend from his teammate there in Peleg. They sit side by side, and Peleg gets a little loose there out of 4. Tires can get up the temperature. Doucette
the points leader
right there.
The points leader definitely wants to keep the points lead, and he's going to do everything he can to hold it off. And the problem is he's got his teammate right there. He's got the pole sitter back there. He's got Jose Solis in the mix right there, whereas we could have a new leader in the next couple laps. Tyler Head has finally gotten underneath the 41 of Mauricio, and now they're doing a little bit of business. Advantage to Head. Can he get around him, or will Mauricio force him to squeeze down into the apron a little bit? So far, the 4 squeezes him upward, and the 4 will be the leader on paper, but for how long is the question?
Yeah, you saw the 40 of Mauricio there, the silver bullet, get squeezed up there. Tyler Head returning the favor from what Mauricio did in that last restart. Head squeezed him off of the inside lane and really kind of pushed him way up the racetrack in the corners to get clear here. And now he overdrives turns 3 and 4, but Mauricio had to check up because he couldn't get over under fast enough because of Doucette.
So now Tyler Head will lead his first laps of the race in at a very advantageous time. Only about 35 laps left here at Martinsville. So Tyler Head could walk away with his second win of the season and break the streak of new winners on this very young next Winstel Cup racing season. Tyler Head in first, Gabe Mauricio in second, Sean Palek still fighting Nick Doucette for position 3 and 4 as now the door opens up. Can Nick Doucette take advantage?
Yeah, Zach Campbell got around Hogan Solis Jr. there, up to the top 5 once again. Tyler Head not running the inside line anymore, running the lane that Mauricio's in and letting Mauricio deal with Doucette, trying to feed him to the wolves here, but Doucette unfortunately not having the chance to build momentum either because he's still dealing with Palek and Campbell behind him, as Mauricio now has a really good shot to go after the race lead once again. Head not blocking the inside lane now. They're going to be side-by-side approaching the start-finish line. Head led that lap, but Mauricio now in the catbird seat.
Ed might be having some issues down there trying to manage not only the traction of the car, but to manage the traffic behind him as Mauricio gets side by side, and Mauricio has the advantageous line down low. Can he finish the story? Can he make the turn? And can he get his lead back running on lap 79 of 110 here? Side by side they remain, and now the 41's back in the picture as well. 2 by 2, all potential leaders in the mix.
Yeah, Campbell making the outside work the same way that Mauricio is making the inside lane work. We'd like to see those two battle it out a little bit. Those Ganassi teammates trying to work together. It's Dodge versus Chevrolet at the front of the field. The best Ford is Rasmus in 7th as things sit. But Mauricio just cannot get clear Tyler Head. He is making him work for it here. 30 laps to go at the line.
30 laps to go, and it still stays side by side. Both these drivers have enough fuel to go the rest of the way. The question is whose tires are going to give out first. And if I'm the 41 machine, the driver of the 41, if my name is Zach Campbell, or if my name is Nick Doucette, right now I'm just biding my time. I'm just watching Mauricio and Head battle side by side. Let them burn out their tires. And when they get tired, when they can't do it anymore, I'll make my move on either side. It doesn't matter. I'll have the fresher stuff, and I'll be able to get through.
And you're seeing that Mauricio, the first one to give way there. Campbell now to his outside. Teammates second and third. Campbell trying to work the outside lane the way Head did, and should be able to this time. You see lap traffic ahead. Going to be a couple laps before they get to Ken Huff. But Campbell gets clear for second place as Doucette looks to the inside of Mauricio. Mauricio shuts the door, but it is now bedlam as Campbell overdrove the corner. Mauricio now battling back again for second. All this behind Tyler Head, who I mentioned had a really good shot of winning this race and breaking that streak. He is now watching as the drivers he's been dealing with all race long duke it out amongst themselves and give him a gap.
And the more they fight amongst themselves, the bigger the gap will get for Tyler Head. Time is running out. If you're going to make a move, you got to start thinking about how you're going to make that move and how fast it's going to happen around here. Lap 84 of 110 being scored. Tyler Head, now the 41 of Zach Campbell, all over his rear bumper. Zach Campbell start on the pole. Can he finish the story? That's the question we're all going to find out tonight.
Yeah, big time moves here. Zach Campbell got it clear of Mauricio, but there's Doucette in the 24, who's been looking really good as well. Campbell diamonding the corner, trying to go after Tyler Head, but Doucette about to fill that hole. If he leaves that space open for too much longer, once Doucette gets clear of Mauricio, they're 3 wide out of 2. Ooh, that's close.
That almost got dangerous. That was very dangerous for those 3 drivers.
Caution's out.
I got a feeling. Oh, the caution is out, and that's going to involve the 25. All of the 4 of those drivers right now are breathing a sigh of relief. Now that the racing is over, they can calm down a little bit and regroup and refocus on what they want to do. Mo Perry and the 25 of Alex Bates involved in that incident one more time as the caution comes out on lap 87 of 110. Let's look at that. Let's take a moment to look at this replay as we catch our breath.
Yeah, this is a big deal. This is Bates and Mo Perry right nose to tail with each other. Do they help each other out? You bet they do. And then the 97 Michael O'Brien turns Perry around. Perry thought he could get away with it. Instant karma there for Michael O'Brien to turn Perry around. You reap what you sow here at Martinsville, and we had a really good run going. I have a feeling Bedlam's about to ensue here.
Well, I don't think it's Bedlam. I think Bedlam is being kind. I think that's a polite way to put what we're about to see. Chaos, flat out fist fighting, anarchy.
So this is going to be very interesting. So obviously a lot of leaders came in. Tyler Head now in the 5th position. The top 4 stayed out. Larry Pace, Matt Taylor, Craig Lautenschlager, and Evan Locke all stayed out here. This put all the leaders back into the 5th position. This is going to be a very wild fight now with these drivers. They did what Brandon McKissick did earlier in this race at a way better time.
Yes, they did, and this is going to really shake up the whole field. A lot of your leaders came down right now because, frankly, they're running out of stuff. They're running out of tires. They got on an off pit cycle because of it, and now guys like Pace and Taylor are up there potentially battling for the lead because they are on a different pit schedule than everybody else. They're trying the one-stop strategy. The problem, though, is with the 98, his car is a little bit broken there. He's got some aerodynamic damage on the front. The 32 is okay, as far as we know, but the 98 could have that hood damage on the right side. That could act like a big parachute. That could act like a big snowplow and work against them and push him back a little bit as other drivers with cleaner cars work their way forward.
Now the thing is, all four of these cars up front have some damage. With the 32 at Taylor, it's mostly on the rear of the car that we see so much damage on that 32. Craig Lautenschlager, he's got some damage. Evan Locke, we know he's got some damage here. So there is damage on all 4 of these cars, which makes them wounded. Larry Pace, though, hoping, though, with it being a single file restart here, that those 3 behind him can hold up the leaders enough that he can kind of just sneak one away here. And that is, I think, the ultimate goal as we stand here. The lights are on the pace car, which means we're about to go racing once again. But it's an interesting gamble, but one that could pay off here with so few laps to go. We're coming to 20. We're at 20 laps to go right now, coming to 19 to go. So all the work to do now.
All the work is on these leaders right now, as everyone who was leading got shuffled back. The caution flag will change everything. Let's see what happens as we go back to green flag racing and everyone scatters out following the 98 of Pace. The 99 immediately on the back bumper of the 98. The 32 struggling to stay up there. And now we see a lot of chaos going on as the 4 works his way up the field.
Yeah, everyone got around Evan Locke there pretty quickly. Doucette on the outside lane. Head moved to the inside lane. It's hedging your bets on what car is better and leading you forward, whether it's Lautenschlager or Taylor in the 32. Caution's out again, and we expected that, and this is going to be Bedlam behind. Justin Howe involved. It looks like Dylan Roberts also involved. Yeah, oh yeah. Huge incident here in turns 1 and 2, and everyone comes to a stop.
And here you all thought the big one could only happen on super speedways. No, my friend, the big one can happen anywhere, especially when it comes down to a small track like this. All it takes is one driver getting sideways, and the next thing you know, like an accordion, everyone else gets bunched right up.
Let's go back and look at this. What happened on this caution? You see some leaning on each other already happening. That's Peleg and Christian Budd ahead of Justin Howe in the 22 and Thomas Lewandowski in the 21. Let's roll the clip.
Let's roll the clip as they go 3 wide through the turn in front of them, continuing down through the off the start finish line. And it looks like the 8 and 6 make contact. The 6 machine that belongs to
Mike Rasmus.
Mike Rasmus got a little excited there, caught the inside of Dylan Roberts, and that's going to break everybody up as the caution flag comes out once again. Now, we're getting to the point now where we're less than 6 laps to go. If the caution comes out again, we will have 2 attempts at a green-white checkered, if I remember correctly.
I'll have to verify that and make sure of that. I know we had 1. We may have 2. I'm not certain about that, as we just see one more replay of this, of all the accordion effects that happened here in turn 1 and 2. Everyone trying to go through, and everyone happy that at this point that the inside there, inside turn 1 and 2 is paved, so they can kind of just roll through without any issues there. Dylan Roberts, though, not happy once again.
Definitely not happy there, but you know, it is what it is. We may this time by come back to a green white checkered finish if the lights stay on at lap well, it won't come to a green white checkered finish this time by because my math is wrong, but we are getting very, very close. We're less than 15 laps left to go, and we know laps go around very fast here. So I've got a feeling this is definitely going to go to a green white checkered finish. The question is, how many are we going to get?
Yeah, that's the big question there. Obviously, we're, coming to lap 97, 14 to go now. Looks like the light's still on the pace car, so we're going to go at least another lap. So you're going to see 12 laps when we go green at best case scenario right now. These are 5-6 lap cautions. Very easy to chip away time here under the pace car here. So it's very easy to do. It's a very physical race. It can be very messy. We see that with the race leader, and remember, Larry Pace has been a part of this race a lap down. Talk about going from last to first.
Again, that's sometimes you gotta play the strategy in reverse. Racing is not a linear sport, where you have in football, in baseball, there's a linear progression to things, and the farther it goes, the further it goes linearly, the further your strategy changes and the further your strategy evolves. In racing, sometimes you don't have that same linearity. You can run in the back of the field for most of the race, and all it takes is one caution flag and one opportunity, one change of things, and now you're leading. You have to remember, it's a non-linear sport. It's constantly fluid, and the biggest beneficiary right now is the driver of that 98 machine, as 98 of Larry Pace will lead them all back to the start-finish line. The 99 of Craig Lautenschlager behind them, and get ready for a lot of chaos. Green flag flies, and we already have drivers trying to scramble for position as the 98 tries to hold off the 99 bumper to bumper through turns 1 and 2.
3 wide there, further back. So far, F1 keeping their P's and Q's. There goes
around. 99, 32 around.
There they go.
Oh, that's
and that is huge. That's a tire. There's the track blockage. Campbell, Doucette, Taylor, Locke. It's easier to say who's not involved in that one.
The bedlam has occurred, and that was definitely the chaos we've been waiting for. Everything is boiled over, and that took out, or at least injured, quite a few contenders that were looking at winning this race.
And that started at the front of the field, too. That started with Lautenschlager. Let's take a look at this. Lautenschlager in the 99.
Lautenschlager trying to defend against Mauricio, gets high. Mauricio gives him a hand going around, and he collects a 32, and that literally creates a wall-to-wall block for many of these drivers. And that's when you see, just like salmon at spawning, they just, as hard as they're trying to go upstream, they just run collectively into one another, and that is definitely not what you want to see at this stage of the race.
Yeah, we're going to ride on board here with Gabriel Mauricio and kind of get his perspective on this here, because he had a really interesting look at this. Yeah, Lautenschlager just drifts up there on the old tires. He can't really stay down there the same way that Tyler Head could. And obviously you see the caution there. Mauricio just kind of getting away with that. One of the contenders in this race. A contender no more. That goose egg set to continue on for Nick Doucette. And you see he just gets hooked here. Nothing for Matt Taylor. Doucette obviously even further behind. And right in the middle of all of that logjam.
That was definitely a logjam in the worst way possible, and that is not what you want to see at the end of a race like this. Great racing all the way up to this point. Let's watch alongside from the perspective of Tom Lewandowski as he starts seeing everything pile up, nowhere for him to go, and he goes for a ride straight into the wall. Serious damage for the 21 machine. He was a contender working his way up through the field, and that might take him out of his consecutive top 10 runs.
this really makes it easier there for Gabriel Mauricio, but now you got Jose Solis Jr. in fourth. This is going to be an interesting one for Jose Solis Jr. A top 5 and a top 10 so far. Looking to add on to that. He's got to get through Mauricio. You got Sean Paley, they're just behind him.
But again, all eyes right now are on the driver of that 98 machine, Larry Pace. Nobody, I think, had him leading at this point on their bingo cards tonight, and now he's got to fend off some of this series' top drivers. He's got to face off Head. He's got to force off Mauricio. He's got a lot of talent behind him that he's got to fend off for the next few laps if he wants to walk away a winner tonight at Martinsville. Can he walk away keeping perfect time and taking home a grandfather clock? Well, 7 laps will tell us if he can or if he can't. Green flag flies, and once again it's Pace in charge of this field. But now here come the contenders. It's Head going high, Mauricio going low. They are side by side. It looks like Ford wants to try to force the issue.
Yeah, it was trying to, it really got loose there out of turn 2. All the way down the back straightaway, still very hot under the throttle. But we are still racing here, 5 laps to go. And this is going to be very difficult. Tyler Head just driving the wheels off of that thing. Jose Solis Jr. gets passed by both Peleg and McKissick. But the racing continues on. 4 to go at the line.
Pace doing a great job of working both lines, high and low, getting a jump on Mauricio and Head as he holds them off 1 and 2. Mauricio now gets the advantage over Head on the low side. Can he catch up to Pace? So that is the question. Going into 3 and 4 one more time. Tough racing as a 4 will not give up any positions. Caution out.
It's Jonathan Hernandez who's spun around backwards here. He's pointing back the right direction, but he went the wrong way. And now, the question that you asked, do we see green-white checkered? It's the answer that's going to be 100% yes.
It was 100% yes before we got to this point. You and I both knew it was going to come to green-white checkered. We knew it was going to come down to blows tonight. These guys aren't going to be fighting fist to fist, but they are going to beat the hell out of these cars.
Yeah, they've already been doing a good job of that. Let's look at what happened here to Jonathan Hernandez in the 1 machine. Oh, he just really tried chopping up Evan Locke there and didn't work. Locke recovered that and sent Hernandez around the wrong way. Hernandez did a really good job keeping that thing off the wall. That could have been a disaster. Well, he puts it in the wall himself there, I guess. But it really gets saved up to that point.
Now, I hate to say it, and I don't want to give the driver of that 96 or that 98 machine, Larry Pace, I don't want to give him the commentator's curse. But I think of anybody, this benefits him the most. Out of everybody on the field, this benefits him the best because now they've only got they've got 2 laps effectively to try to get around the 98, and we know how good Larry Pace has been holding everybody back, holding everybody off out there. So really, this could be his race to lose right now. Tyler Head, Gabriel Mauricio, they all have to get incredible jumps to get around that 98, but I think 98 is in the best position right now as a result of that caution flag.
So this is important. This is the This is the point of no return. This is the only green-white checkered we have. So if Larry Pace is going to do it, this is the time.
It's do or die time for Larry Pace. Will he have the glory? Green flag flies, and everybody scattering behind him as he's quick to dive into the turns 1 and 2. The 4, the McKissick, Head, Mauricio, all trying to jockey for position behind him. Ted trying to get around him the hard way. And Head might do it this time by. White flag will come. They will come to the white flag this time by. It looks like Pace may have the advantage. No, Tyler Head does. And Head wants to get his second win. He's going faster. He's moving faster around that high side, low side. Pace continues to push the pace, but the 4 just faster on those straightaways into turns 3 and 4. One last time. The 4 gets a little sideways. The 98 gets sideways. The 98 brings up a caution, and it's going to be Tyler Head winning here at Martinsville.
Wild
Woo!
finish there. Head, McKissick, Mauricio, your podium finishers tonight. Aaron Smith 5th behind Jose Solis Jr. But Tyler Head gets to celebrate here, a winner at Martinsville. Had to go the long way around and does so in style.
Definitely does so in style. Tyler Head, your winner, your first two race winner here in the 2024 Winstel series. When you see him burning it down there, we'll go through all the finishers in just a few minutes here. But what an incredible finish for Tyler Head. He was a contender all the way through from start to finish. He was a fighter all the way through from start to finish. And on that last run, he found an incredible way to not only get around, but ultimately get the win. What an incredible finish for Tyler Head.
Yeah, he did such an outstanding job. He's going to burn this thing down all the way to turn 1. Just an outstanding job there for him. Yeah, he was a contender all the way through. He was quick all weekend long. He's one of the drivers that put a lot of time into this race, and what a way to get through this. A race winner once again, the defending series champion, staying hot on top of it here, coming back from the Easter break.
That's definitely one way to get your mojo back after taking a couple weeks off. Tyler Head, he first two-time winner this season in the Winstel Cup Series, throwing it back to 2004. He will. That's definitely going to be a race to celebrate.
Yeah, absolutely. Tyler Head, Brandon McKissick, Gabriel Mauricio, and a wild turn of events there on the final lap. They get the podium positions here over Jose Solis Jr. He gets another top 5 finish here at Martinsville. Aaron Smith in 5th. Sean Peleg, the championship leader going into this race, holds on to it a little bit because Mauricio didn't get that top spot, but the gap's going to shrink significantly. Thomas Lewandowski did what he needed to do as well. A top 7 finish there. Emily Howe, another top 10 for her in that number 15 machine. Mike Rasmus and Evan Locke with his car put together with duct tape and hopes and dreams gets a top 10 as well in the 42 car. A really good effort there for the 42. That's been a lot of this race being a punching bag. Nick Doucette, not where he wanted this race to be. He was a contender all race long until he got taken out of that, dealing with traffic. Brennan McGee, David Cornelius, a good run for him in the 77 over Chris Champeau. Timothy Latham had one incident in this race, but otherwise a pretty quiet event. Top 15, I don't think it's going to be too bad for him. A godsend of a result for Andrew Griesbaum, though, 16th place for him. He entered this race 35th in points. Now he definitely is safe going into next week's race. 16th place, they had a Corey Cook. Christian Budd, a race of what could have been for him. Same with Zach Campbell, the pole sitter, down in 19th position. Caught up in that big one, and that big one obviously took out a lot of contenders we'll see further on down this list as well. Matt Sisler in the 51, a debutant for Matt Sisler. 20th place, top 20, not a bad result out of 39 cars that started this race. Michael O'Brien, his car, another car that was held together with bare bond and duct tape. 21st place for him ahead of Corey Steinhauser, Tyler Murray, Alex Bates, and Kyle Benson rounding out their top 25. Brandon Cruz, another subpar result for him. 26th, Mo Perry, 27th. Dylan Roberts, Evan Melanson, and Justin Howe, your top 30. And then the final 9 cars, several of these cars did not see the finish of this race. Jonathan Hernandez, Philip Snipes, Matt Taylor, Craig Lautenschlager, Larry Pace down in 35th position, did not get to see the checkered flag at all. Drops to the very tail end of the lead lap. Kenneth Askew, Ken Huff, Hayden Repas, and Leandro Morera, all drivers that did not finish on lead lap. Repas and Morera, the last 2 cars, didn't finish this race at all. 37 cars did take the checkered flag in some way, shape, or form. But we will talk to the podium finishers. Let's talk to Tyler Head, Brandon McKissick, and Gabriel Mauricio here in just a moment. All the results there at the top of your screen. We'll see them scrolling once again here as we go into the podium interviews. Tyler Head, the defending champion, putting a stamp on how this season's going to go. I think we got him coming up first.
Tyler Head finishes at the head of the field. 2 of the 5 races in so far. Tyler, just walk us through that very last run. Walk us through those last 2 laps. At what point did you say, we're coming home with this race?
When we came off of turn 4 coming to the white, and I had half a car length or so, I felt like, okay, the tires got cooled down under that caution, and I've got something to work with again, because if we didn't have that last caution, I think Larry had it all wrapped up because even though he had older tires, I had cooked everything behind him trying to make a move happen, and I think Gabe would have been able to do something with him if he had gotten around me, but I was holding him up. That caution was a huge blessing for me. I hate that Larry ended up going around there on the last corner because he deserved a good finish and possibly a win. He had played the strategy really well, but yeah, I just charged it up on the outside there again on the initial lap there. Just either it was going to stick or it wasn't. We were going to see what happened, and it ended up working out.
This race was definitely all about not only managing the car, but managing emotions down the way. You fought your way up through the field to ultimately take on this win. What was the key for you? How were you able to manage all of that and ultimately put yourself in a position to win this race?
Well, it's a lot easier when the race goes the way that it did for me. The first cycle of pit stops put me in the best position as far as people with 4 tires, and was able to maintain that track position throughout the rest of the race until we had the second or third to last caution where we came back down pit road and a few people stayed out. But even then, while I know that I've got some work to do, I also know that I'm the first one with fresh tires trying to make the charge. So at that point, you really see it as an opportunity. Until somebody gets around you, and then you go, okay, now I'm on the back foot. But thankfully, that didn't end up happening. But to your point, I mean, you really have to try to balance the emotions and contextualize things in that way to have a level head so you can make the most of what's in front of you.
So after considering the drop involved, you've had 3 of 4 qualifying starts on the season so far. 2 of them have been wins. At what point are you and your team talking about defending the Winstel Cup?
Well, if I'm honest, I just don't know how much I'm going to be able to race this year with real life responsibility. So I know, for instance, this coming weekend, I'm not going to be able to make it just with real life responsibilities with work. But if we can get to the chase cutoff there and put together, really strong runs, even when we have to miss a couple races and, be in that top 10 cutoff, then anything can happen in those last 8 races. So I guess we'll talk when we start the chase and see if we made it at that point.
11 races left of the chase. Tyler Head now has 2 wins going towards it. Who makes it work for you, Tyler?
Everybody here at Winstel that makes the races happen, all the admin crew that put a lot of time in, dedication to not only getting everything right for things procedurally, but especially Christian Budd and the team getting the look right. It's just so much fun to have this nostalgia trip 20 years into the past every week, and obviously everybody that shows up to make it happen. I mean, a big field full of competitive people is a big draw in itself. So we're fortunate to have all of that here at Winstel.
Tyler Head breaks the streak and becomes your first 2-time winner here on the 2024 campaign. Congratulations, Tyler, on a race well fought.
Thank you, sir.
Carmen, I'm not sure that anyone else, we're going to get any other of your top 3 drivers tonight. I think they're going to take the fine for not coming to the media center.
Let me see if I can grab one of them, because I know Gabriel Mauricio typically is okay with getting an interview. Let's see if we can grab one of them.
If we can't, I would love to talk to Larry Pace. If we can get Larry Pace, that would be awesome. I would love to talk to him about those last races, but I also don't see him here on our in a media junket list.
Yeah, we'll see here. Gabriel Mauricio, 3rd place finisher, did pop into our waiting room here, so we'll go ahead and bring him in here, and we'll talk to Gabriel Mauricio, 3rd place finisher tonight, getting once again close to the championship lead here.
Gabriel Mauricio won at Daytona, almost won here at Martinsville. That's got to be a little bit of heartbreak for you, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of got lucky with the strategy early in the race. I saw that the left sides were only at 98, so why not try 2 tires, single file restart? And it worked out for the most part. We got so many cautions that hopefully I led the most laps, I don't know. And I had a fun battle with Tyler, either with 2 tires or the last one that I took 2 again. Don't think it was much of a disadvantage at the end, and was able to hold off right at the end with the crash. I apologize to the 99. It kind of felt like he missed the bottom a little bit. I was on the brakes trying to not hit him, but the car was already going down the track at that point, and shame he took out so many cars there.
Taking 2 tires at Martinsville is an incredibly bold strategy, but not only did you make it work, you thrived on it, especially at the end of tonight's race. How difficult was it to balance this car and make the car work so beautifully on limited equipment?
Yeah, it was mostly managing the gas, not going wide open to not spin the tires too much on exit, and I felt like holding the middle and top was the way to go. I mean, top, I mean the concrete, because it would get tight off the corner, so if you ran the bottom, you kind of missed the exit, and Tyler and I were the ones that were doing it the most, either early in the race and late in the race. And he was able to pass me even on the bottom. I think Zach passed me on the top, I don't remember. We were able to pass. It was a lot better than last year that we were pretty much stuck side by side since we can't push, we can't bump with this bumper on the Gen 4. So I don't know, I feel like overall I feel like this was better to race. We could actually pass. Some people may disagree, they didn't like it, they thought it was too hard to pass, but I feel like it's a product of Martinsville and also the new damage model, but overall I feel like it was a fun race when we had some battles and obviously too many cautions.
You came into tonight's race 28 points behind Sean Peleg for the points lead. Tonight, you're probably going to cut down a few of those points as we go into next week's race. What are you thinking? What is your strategy? What are you looking at? Where's your mindset, I guess, is the best way to ask it. Where is your mindset going into next week? And what are you doing to prepare for that?
I feel like the closer we get to the end of the regular season, I can pretty much go for it, try to get a win, because as soon as the chase starts, all that matters is the bonus points that you got early in the season. So at this point, it's just go for a win. I feel like I'm up in the points enough that I can be more aggressive about it.
Let me expand on that just a little bit here as well. I don't want to say it's checkers or wreckers for your teams. I don't think that's correct, but it does seem like you feel like you can race a little harder, knowing that you're in a better place to walk into the chase.
Yeah, the mindset is completely different from last year, where we had the 2003 point system that we had to be consistent, and that's what I did for most of the year. I feel like this one, finishing poorly in one race here and there before the chase starts, it won't hurt me if I'm not lowering the points. So depending on the tracks, if I trust them and if I can be aggressive, I'm definitely going for it with strategy, or either the way I'm racing or the strategy.
Gabriel Mauricio finishing third here tonight in what was a hotly contested race at Martinsville. Who makes it work for you, buddy?
I honestly just want to thank Winstel for the lead. So much fun to have them all year with all the paint schemes, the schedule, the setups that are fun to drive, and that's it. Just hope for another good year.
Gabriel Mauricio finishing third tonight, looking for more wins as we get closer and closer to the chase. Carmen, it's been a wild race. It was definitely some craziness at the finish. Bedlam, as I believe you called it, and Bedlam it was. What are your final thoughts coming out of race number 5?
This was everything we thought it was going to be and more, and it sets up what's going to be a thrilling week of racing coming up here. We're going to be spending a lot of time in California. You literally just came from California. You get to go back.
I literally did.
So we got Champ Car on Wednesday at Fontana. The next race in the Winstel season right there in Fontana as well. We get to go to California and stay there for a few days. That's going to be a lot of fun. These cars love the multi-lane racing. We got to see a lot of that already with Vegas and Texas. Now it's going to be cranked to 11 when we head back to California there, and I'm excited for that. I think it's a really good way to pop off some steam there as well, giving the drivers something to really sink their teeth into there with Fontana there in 7 days' time. We're back at it once again, and the springtime is in full swing because the heat's getting hotter and hotter and hotter.
When the heat gets hotter, the racing heats up all around the world. We hope you'll join us for some of them here on the Aero Broadcast Network. We'll take you now to ABN2 for the ARCS A2 Cup finish at Talladega. On behalf of our broadcast team, Carmen Sienna, my name is Joe Cortez. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next Sunday here for the more Winstel Cup Series action. Good night, everybody.